Hello and welcome to Stats Profit. My name is Ewan Moore, and this is where we turn football statistics into long-term profit. I've been analyzing football for well over 10 years now, and I've come up with this system that ultimately uses data from past history matches and predicts the probability of a home win outcome. I'm now going to take you through a journey of the 2025 to 2026 football season, where I've used the insights from my statistical model to produce a healthy profit throughout the football season. So thank you for the introduction. And now I'm going to explain through my strategy. For those of you new to Stats Profit, please help me grow this channel by liking, sharing, or making a comment on any of these videos. It would really help me a lot. Thank you very much. So let's start then. This strategy I've created, so this season, I started with a total balance of £7,500. And I use an investment risk, which is 5% of the initial balance. So here you can see from the £7,500, 5% of that is £375. Now, what that means is through every match of the last season, I used exactly the same stake for each game. And that's my simple strategy. Using this strategy sort of helps us be in it for the long term. It helps us oversee and survive the losing runs that we will experience throughout the season. And it allows us to maximize the profit from winning runs at the same time without having to panic or reinvest funds. So it's a pretty secure structure. Let's go. I'm now going to flip over to the monthly results tab just to give you an overview of what's happened throughout each month. Now, remember the football season that I cover, the leagues that I cover, they start from the beginning of August and they generally will finish sort of mid to the end of May. So every month, I post these videos on what happened in terms of how many matches there were, how many home wins, the win percentage, average winning odds, total stakes, total profit from the wins, total losses, take the losses from the profit, and there you've got the difference, which is your profit or loss for that month. I then explain the closing balance and give you a percentage figure in terms of the return on investment for that period. Okay, so this strategy is pretty much like, well, it is a real investment strategy, but it's taken from sort of trading concepts used in football betting to really give us an edge long term to allow us to produce healthy profits. All right. So, what can I say about this sort of period? I mean, you can see the matches are fairly consistent. If you think about the highest matches we experienced in a month was November in terms of 18, and then the lowest was sort of joint in terms of April and May. Now, the algorithm sort of works on a weekly basis, and my matches are highlighted to me for the weekend ahead. So it's very hard or unlikely that I can anticipate weeks in advance how many matches are going to appear for that particular weekend, as it's literally ran, 1 or 2 days before the weekend starts, generally on a Thursday or Friday, and then the matches are sort of highlighted from the system for that weekend ahead. Once I put on the fixtures and the results from the previous weekend, but we are looking at historic data well over 10 years. I think we're about to move into year 12 now of the historic data. So each year that builds onto this gives us more and more strength for our probabilities. Okay. So generally, I've got a tab for home wins because that's what the system focuses on. It focuses on the home team beating the away team. And you can see we're fairly consistent with, fairly high win percentages. At the end, I will show you what the average win rate was for the season. But here you get an idea of the odds that we sort of work with. It's very sort of low odds. It's very not sort of like dead certs or home bankers, but the team is likely to win, but the matches that are selected, it is based on historic research, giving us that probability to really back up our selection. We do not focus on opinions here. This is purely data. So the aim of it is to get the right price. When I say right price, average being higher than the actual likelihood of the event. So if we can achieve a better price for the actual results that happen, we will end up in profit. That's where our edge is. Okay. So each month, bearing in mind our stake is the £375 per match. This column is just times in the 15 matches, for example, here by that stake. And this gives us our total stakes for that period, which is the month. Each time we win, the profit from those wins, we calculate and add up together for the month, and that goes in this column. And here is the total losses. And, every time a match loses, that's 375 wiped out from the investment. So, the aim really is to maximize the profits, and ultimately over the course of a long season, our profits will offset the losses, and then the difference will remain our profit for the year. Okay. So here we've got the P&L column. So that's pretty simple here, that we just take our profit for the month, we minus our losses, and that either gives us our profit or loss for that period. Now, really interesting to see here. There are 1, 2, 3, 4 reds. So 4 losing periods here throughout the season. Okay. So it's really important to stress that this strategy is not about winning every month. It's not about winning. It's not a straight upward curve. Some months we'll win, some months we'll lose collectively, but we will never know which months that is going to be. But what we do know is that over a course of a long period of time, i.e., a whole full season, really what we should see is the profits outweighing the losses, and then the difference at the end of the season or over a long period of time should definitely outweigh, should be more on the plus side than the minus. But you can see it, this sort of it will depend where you join, where you start your basically your investment. The idea is to start at the beginning of the season, but that is not always possible. You might come across us mid-season, in the new year, anytime, but you do not have to wait for a specific period to join Stats Profit. The only time you can't join Stats Profit is at the end of the season when there are no football matches, but actually you can still join us. You just will be getting prepared for that new season ahead. But there's no period where you can't join. But it's just really important to highlight here that for anybody who thinks this strategy is about winning every month, no, you're in the wrong place here. We are very transparent, and show exactly the matches and results as they are. And you'll see I've got a tab where I go through, give you a quick overview of all the matches. You'll see that, it's not straightforward. There are losing periods, but there are winning periods as well. And yeah, like I said, we're aiming for more winning periods than losing. We'll always lose. We just don't know when. All right. That's why you've got to be in it for the long term. And in this column, pretty simple here. We've got the closing period, the closing balance for that month. So we literally will take the opening balance, add the profit or subtract the loss, and that will give us our closing balance. And then return on investment will be closing balance divided by the opening balance. So pretty straightforward. You can see here, it's color coded. So the red months, losing months, and the green months are profitable months. So that's pretty much how we sort of display it, broken it down nice and clearly for you to see. Also, if you want to see the detail of the matches, All detailed matches are published on a monthly basis on the Stats Profit website. And you just click the results selection, and there is a button there that takes you to our Google Sheets, and that's updated on a monthly basis. So you can stay on track and see all the matches from a month and previous periods, taking us all the way back to when we first started. All right. And there's also some helpful graphs in there, and some average summaries as well. So you can get more information should you need it. Okay, then. So now we're going to have a quick look at the totals tab. Okay. So here again, we're still focusing on the 2025 to 2026 football season. So you can see we had a total of 120 matches for the season. Now remember, that's from August right through to the end of May. During that period, we experienced 98 home wins, which is fantastic. And that gave us a home win rate of 82%. Now, the average winning odds for those 98 matches is 1.28. And that's brilliant. And one of the main reasons why that's brilliant is because if you take 100 and you divide that by 82, that is 1.22, let's say. And that's what our average winning odds should be if you didn't factor in profitability. So if the odds were 1.22 and we got that 82% sort of win rate, if it was 1.22, we would have broke even and not achieved any profit. But because we get average winning odds at 1.28, I mean, it just allows us, that's what gives us the edge, and that's where we make our money. Okay. So when we add up all the profit totals for the whole season, it is a round total of £2,000. Now that's brilliant, but remember, it depends what you started with. Remember that I started with £7,500. So 7,500 plus my profit of 2,000 for the season gives me a running balance, or we should say a closing balance now the season's finished, of 9,500. Are you with me? All right. Now, when you take that 9,500 and you divide that by our original starting capital, so that's the 7,500, that gives us a fantastic return on investment of 26.67%. Now, that for me is amazing. And to think about it, we had a really bad month at the end of May, where before May, so at the end of April, our sort of return on investment was looking sort of mid-30s. So we had quite a bad month. If I just go back to that month, let's go back. So yeah, as you can see, so we had 5 matches in May. We only had 2 wins. So with the 3 losses pretty much not wiped us out, but it dented our sort of investment capital by £900 almost. So but that's the beauty of the strategy. I mean, it allows room for loss, and overall, you sort of experience profit. Now, jump ahead too quickly, but here I just wanted to show you the detail. This is where I track each specific match, and this is the most recent match at the top, but we can scroll down all the way to the bottom. Remember, we're just looking at this season, and this is the same information that you will see updated on the Stats Profit website as well. So we are talking, showing exactly what we've sort of invested in. You will see from whether you're looking at this sheet now or whether you're digging in for more information on a website, you'll see that a lot of the teams at home, they are big teams, they are strong teams. And this strategy, yes, it's all about backing the home win, and generally it is the home favorite. But remember, this is purely data driven. So this is, the data saying teams have, I think the average the minimum home win chance is going to be 80%, but it will vary. But, from my specific data and my specific games, home wins that we've selected over this long period, we have an 85% home win chance generally for the matches that are identified. So, on average, you will see the fixtures that we choose, the home win will have there or thereabouts an 85% chance of winning. Okay, so that's what we're looking at. So here, let me just run through the tabs. This is the columns. This is the match number, which takes us up to the 120 games. These are the week numbers. So each week, whether there are multiple games, they all get labeled as a week number with, some weeks there are no matches identified. Therefore, you will see in this column, it may skip. It rarely happens, but it can happen because there's no guaranteed fixture. Remember, this is not, this is all data driven. Again, so I've got the match date here. And then I've got the month here, so we can easily filter by sort of months. We have the actual match fixture, but remember, we're only focusing on home teams, so that will be the team on the left. This column is quite interesting because I always quote Bet365 odds. Now, it's just something I've done historically. I don't actually use Bet365. I place my trades on Betfair for two reasons. One, traditional high street bookmakers like Betfair, they do not like profitable accounts, and they will aim to shut you down and restrict your activity because 98% of people are betting for quick gains. The 1 or 2% of us who do this long term and try to profit and do profit, they do not like us. So when you use platforms like Betfair, they are betting exchanges and they make their money through the transaction and they take a commission on the transaction. That's how they make their profit. Whereas traditional high street bookmakers make their profit by people who lose. Okay. Whereas Betfair, they don't care who wins, they don't care who loses because the transaction that you place, they take a commission from the winning bet. Okay, so I always quote Bet65, 365, even when I send the recommendations out to sort of members, they will be quoted Bet365 odds. I mean, they are a global global company with a really big name, and their odds are generally achievable in the market. So it just allows people to see, this is the odd you should be looking for in the market. Because yes, they are a reputable company and can be highly trusted. I just don't use them. Here we've got the score, just so we can see the actual outcome, and then we track whether it was a home win, away win, or a draw. Here's really interesting though. So you can see here, £375. Like I said at the beginning, it's for the whole season. Each match is the same stake here. This is a major part of our investment strategy. This is not about chasing losses. It's about sticking to a specific system that has proven to deliver profitability over a long period of time. It's very, very, very important. Although, the more experienced people who have this kind of style of investing can change that to do sort of a run-in 5% of the balance. I find it more difficult to manage, and I find this very, very simple because I know each time when I go to place my trades, I know exactly the amount I'm doing. Don't have to work any other calculations out. So I personally prefer this method. Okay, so here we've got a net profit or loss figure, and in brackets I've got after commission. So after Betfair has taken the commission away from the winning bet, you will see, well, you won't see it, but it's factored out. But yeah, the money is taken out. I mean, I think my commission at the moment with Betfair is 2% of the winning bet, so not too bad. I can't find anyone else that beats that. But what you will see is the red here is that's for each of the losing bets, and you will see that each match that loses is a negative £375. So if I can just scroll back to the beginning, you can just have a quick look. I mean, the color is very helpful. Maybe I should put the color in the this column so you can see, but it's really important to see that, you can see quite regularly you are losing. Do you know what I mean? So it's like this strategy is not win, 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 win all the time. Although we have an 80% win rate, or should I say more enough towards 85% is where we're heading. Um, that is achieved over a long period of time. So the runs, you will see long profitable runs at some points of the season, and you will see many losses together. It's just the way it goes. We don't know when they're going to occur, but they will occur, and that is the point. That is why the 5% strategy protects us. Okay, so if I just scroll up, I'm just going to go a bit slowly just so you can see where the reds are. And when there's no reds, like here, there's long period here. Like that's a really good consistent home win run, isn't it? Look at that. I mean, that is really, really healthy. But then, hey, look what happens next to that. You get 4 losses in a row. And by losses, I don't just mean the team has to lose. Remember, we're looking at a home win. So if they draw, it's a loss bet. If the away team wins, it's a lost bet. But that was a really stressful period because it's to lose 4 in a row, you start to question the strategy. You start to think, what's going on here? But the key that I experienced, even during going through this period in the season, was take emotion out of it, focus on the strategy, focus on the numbers, and see it through. If you do that, then it's much easier because the goal is getting to the end of the season, not to think emotionally. You do not sit there and watch the matches. You do not try and cash out early. This is seeing it all from placing the trade from the beginning of the match before kickoff and just seeing it out to the end of the match. If you want to get more sophisticated and watch games and trade in during game and cash out, you go in more down the betting route, I think, but each one to their own. So let's continue to scroll up. So you can see, you can still see the odd 375 pounds being lost. But when you add these all up together, again, it's the total profit that we achieve through these home wins. You take away the losses from that figure, and the difference there is our profit. So you can see here again quite a nice, healthy win run. Again, so, you do get decent sized win. Look at there. Again, quite another one. And again, this is now to the top of the list here where, you can see towards the end of the season, you get quite a few. Well, we achieved quite a few losses. But hey, we ended up profit. And then what I've done with this column at the end here, this is net Betfair odds. So what I've done is after the commission has been taken out, I've kind of gone back and used that figure to work out what the net odds would have been. And generally, what you could see most of the time, and I've not done it for matches where we lose because there's just no point tracking that information. But for the matches where we win, you can see that the odds are generally better by, anything up to 0.05. And it makes a big difference here because if you look on the website where I quote the 365 odds, I think the return on investment for, the 25 to 26 season was around 17% on the website because I'm quoting 365 odds. But because I'm using Betfair and achieving better odds, actually on YouTube in this, you can see that my profits are more healthy and I managed to achieve a much higher rate than Bet365 would have allowed. So 26.6% ROI. Remember that. That's fantastic. So yeah, it does pay to stick with the betting exchanges in my book. So that's that. So what I'm going to do now is quickly go to the summary. So you will see that this is the image and this is the structure of my monthly videos, but I sort of broke it down at the beginning for you in this video just so you could focus on each set of information, relevant information at a time. But yeah, generally this is what it looks like overall. So we've been through the strategy, which is mainly up here. Here we've got the closing balance for May. Remember, we've got all the monthly activity, and then we've got our summaries at the bottom. And that's it. So thank you for watching this video. If you're here to the end, you must like the content. And if you do like the content, please, again, help me grow this channel by liking, sharing, and subscribing to it for more relevant content. Thank you very much for watching. If you're interested in what we do and are considering, doing something like this yourself, or perhaps you want to find out more information about Stats Profit, please also visit the website. That's www.statsprofit.com. Okay, so what I'll do next month is we'll get geared up for next season in terms of a preview for the season ahead. But yeah, thank you for watching and enjoy your summer.